Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on the new Registry Trainer Enhancements. I'm Chris Madden, the PD Registry Manager for the Pennsylvania Key. The Pennsylvania Key is contracted through the Office of Child Development and Early Learning. And with me today is Amanda Januszewski, and she is the PD Registry Specialist. So a lot of you have contact with her already through emails and tutorials and one-on-one walkthroughs. So she's going to show us all of the steps that you need to know and the new look and feel of course entry and event entry. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome, Amanda.
Hello, everyone. First, I'm going to start off. Once you log in, this is going to be the home screen that you're going to see. And I do want to note that we are doing this demo through our test site. So there are a couple things that you don't see on our current live site. So the first thing I'm going to start is when you go to schedule an event, if you're scheduling an event through your organization, you're going to want to make sure that you're within your organization profile. So to get there, you would go to the drop down by your name and then click on that purple box with your organization's name. When you get to the next screen, you're going to end up clicking on training entry that will show on the left-hand menu. Okay, there we are. So we'll click on training entry. And to enter in a course, that has not changed. So I'm just going to show you how to schedule an event with our new enhancement. And I apologize that our system on our test site it does run a little slower. So just bear with me. Okay, so once you're within training entry, and I'm under the Pennsylvania Keys org profile, the reason I'm doing it under the Pennsylvania Keys org profile is because we have a Stripe account set up within the profile to allow online registration and to accept payment through the system. If you do not have a Stripe account attached to an org profile, you will not be able to allow the participants to register for your event through the system. They would have to register with using an outside link. So to schedule the event, we'll click on New Event. And this is where it's going to start to look a little different than you guys are probably used to. So here, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to search for the course. So you either use the course title, the course ID, are the two areas that I would suggest using. So I actually already have a course created, so I'm going to go ahead and enter in the ID number. And then you can hit enter for search or just click on search. Once you do that, the course will show up over here on your right-hand side, and you're going to click on select. So here on this page, you have a couple ways of entering in the event information. You can either toggle through these different tabs up top. I know the cursor doesn't change, but you can just click on one of them and you'll get that information. Or you can enter in the information by clicking on these pencil icons to edit the information over here on the left-hand side. And you can also go through by just hitting continue at the bottom. So let's start from the course tab. The course tab is going to be a review of all the information that you've entered in for that course. And then we're going to hit continue. The next page is here is you're going to, this is where your trainer list is. So we have to add the trainer. So to do that, we're going to click on the plus instructor. And it's not coming up. I apologize. One moment. I have to actually fix something within the profile. I apologize. One moment. While I am trying to fix the permissions for this course, I apologize. I have to do something on the back end. If you guys have any questions or want to see anything specifically in this webinar, please enter that in your questions box, and then we can go ahead and answer those for you.
I can answer some of the questions in the question box while Amanda's fixing this course. Sharon asked if we are going to show how to enter a conference. If we have time at the end of the session, we can certainly show you how to enter a conference. If not, we do those by case, as you submit a special event, we do walkthroughs one-on-one for those conference processes, but if we have time at the end, we can certainly show you how to do that. Has the course approval process changed at all? No, the course approval process is still the same. Once you submit a course, it goes into the queue for Michelle Zitch to approve. And if there's any edits that need to get made, she'll make a note and you get an email about those edits that need to be made before the course is approved. The next question, if I do a training for just my staff, can I register all of them at once in the new system? Yes, you can register all of your staff. Directors have access to go to the training calendar and to find a specific event and register all the staff as long as they are attached to your organization. Another way directors can do this is you can send out a private link, make the event private, and at the very end you get a special link that you can send to your employees to have them register if you don't want to register for them. So that has not changed. But it's really important that all of the staff are attached to your organization in order to add all of them. Because we get a lot of questions. Directors are trying to add all of their staff to a training, but they're only seeing, maybe half of their staff. So it is because people have not attached their employment. Next question, will you send us the link to watch this recorded session? Yes, we are recording this and we will send this out to you as well with the questions and answers.
All right. Sorry about the interruption, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and, again, this is the course tab, just a course overview of the information that you already submitted for approval. Next, hit continue. And then here is the list of authorized trainers for this course. So we're going to go ahead and select which one you want to have. And then a box will pop up. If you want to add another instructor, you're going to hit yes. If you are done, you will hit no. I'm going to go ahead and click yes to show you how to enter in another instructor. So the first instructor always has to be one that is already approved for that course. The second instructor does not necessarily need to. It could be a person that it could be one of the instructors that just might need administrative access to the event so they can help manage the roster or update any information. We'll type in the last name. And then we'll hit select next to that individual's name. So now we're going to click no because we were done adding instructors. If you would like to give that other person, administrative access to the event, you just have to check that box next to their name. And if you would like to add a third instructor, you can always do that. Want to make sure you hit the confirm box, so that confirms the trainers that you have entered. You're going to select the training language. And then the event funder, you will leave blank. You're going to hit continue. And then you're going to select the assessment of learning. So we'll just select. You're going to also select your delivery method. And then hit continue. And then on the event tab. So this is where a lot of folks get kind of confused on what to select. So again, if you have any questions after this section, we'll pause and we can answer those specific questions for you. Do you want to share this in the public search result? Yes or no? So if you want this to show up on the training calendar, you're going to hit yes. If this is a private event, then you want to hit no. So we're going to select yes. We're going to select the type of event this is. So is it a classroom, web-based? Is it blended, online and a classroom? If you select blended, you'll get the option to put in the web address and pick the face-to-face location. We'll just do classroom for this demo. You can search in your saved locations, and if you need to add a saved location or add a location to save to your locations, you're going to click the plus location box, and then you'll just type in the information. And then if you want to add this, just click the add to save locations, and it will save it so you can use it again in the future. Hit confirm. And then for the event date and time. So is this event self-paced, yes or no? So we're going to say no in this case. If it is self-paced, it's not going to ask for specific times, but it will ask for a start and end date. If it's a multiple sessions, you could click yes or no. This would be used if you have, say, a 6-hour course and you want to break it up into 3 days. So to have 2-hour events. You would select yes, and then you can add in multiple sessions. So you would pick the date, you would select the time, the start time and the end time, and then hit add session. Then you'll have the option to add another one and another one as well. For this demo, though, we're going to say no and just enter in one date. We'll say the start date's tomorrow and it ends tomorrow. For the time, we will say 1, and then you have to toggle through here with the AM and the PM to switch between morning and afternoon. So it starts at 1 p.m. and then ends at 2 p.m. Hit confirm. And then in this box, you can add additional date and time information. So say if you want to say lunch is provided or lunch is on your own, or information about, where to go for the location for the event. The contact information is always default. It always defaults to the contact information that you have within that organization profile or within your own individual profile. You can edit that information if needed, and then add additional contact information there as well. Before I hit continue, is there any questions?
We do have a couple questions. Does each course approved in the registry get a constant course ID number? This is a really good question because a lot of times when you renew a course, it automatically gets a new course ID number. So that can be really confusing. So when there are edits made, it's really important to email somebody at the registry or Michelle Zitch so that we can make those edits for you, because a lot of people will renew the course and then it creates a whole new course ID number. So you don't want to have multiple courses with the same name but different ID numbers. So it's really important that if you are making edits, to contact us so we can make the changes for you so that you're not going in and creating a whole new course. So that was a great question. Another question, how can I see the Big Ideas framework for practitioners for my staff? Right now, the staff has the ability to print out the self-assessment so that you can see that information. We do have 2 new reports for directors and quality coaches so that you can see the staff list and see whether or not they have completed it. But it's a check-off box for yes or no if they've completed the Big Ideas framework and the PD plan. But again, we're always making enhancements to the system. But for now, the staff person would have to print out the PD, the self-assessment, and show it to the director. Yes, we do have tip sheets on how to enter courses and events, and those are posted on the PA Keys website. If you go to pakeys.org and then click on the Professional Development tab, and then scroll down to PD Registry, there's information for instructors, and all of the new tip sheets are posted there. And just to make note, Amanda and I will also be recording short little videos and posting them in the registry under the video library on how to do these different steps as well, and breaking it down to 1-minute videos in case people do not like reading the tip sheets or find it easier to watch the video. So those will also be coming soon. Where can the instructors find trainings on developing content, delivering, and holding better trainings? That information, you would be able to speak with Donna Wennerholt. Her email is donwen@pakeys.org, and she might be able to give you some information on developing content. Yes, there are directions with the updates, and again, those are on the PAKeys website under Professional Development and PD Registry. And where are Train the Trainer trainings listed?
The Train the Trainer list, those PDIs are listed within your instructor tab. I can actually show you where those are after I am done with entering in this event.
If the event is for your staff at one location only, would we be able to check off private? If so, will the individuals still be able to find the training to register? Yes, you can make the event private for only your specific staff at your facility. So you would click no, not to show it in the public search calendar. And then at the very end of creating the event, you get a link that you can copy and paste and send to your staff. So only those staff would be able to register for that event. It would not be shown in the public calendar.
Now, just to add to that, the only way to do that is if you have a Stripe account set up to allow them to register through the system. So if you do not have a Stripe account set up for yourself as an instructor, then you would have to register them on the back end after the event.
And the last question, will there be an API for staff assessment? There is not currently an API for staff assessment, but we take these questions to our steering committee, so it's always possible for that to happen in the future. And the next question, what is a Stripe account? And we can go into more detail around the Stripe because I know that's very confusing.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and continue on with the event. So after you're done entering in all the event information, it brings you to the registration. So when you enter in the event registration, if registration is required, you're going to want to click yes. The screen that you're seeing now is because this is what it's going to look like if you have a Stripe account linked to your profile. If you don't have a Stripe account and you do want to require registration, you can. What you'll do is you'll click yes, and then you'll have to enter in the registration deadline and the registration web address. And then that's the link that they would go to register outside of the system. But since we have Stripe set up, we're going to go ahead and click on Register Online. You enter in the number of participants allowed. When do you want registration to start? So if you don't want it to start the day that you entered the event in, you can always post date it. So say if you want to start it on the 26th, you can. And then you can also hide the listing until registration start date if that's what you would like to do. So once that's all entered, you're going to click Save and Review. And now all your information has been saved. So hit OK. And then it's going to bring you back to the screen where you can kind of review all the information that you have entered. So if you would like to look through everything to make sure your event details are correct, your event registration is correct, the training sponsor is correct, any of that kind of information. And if you do need to change anything, you just simply click on the Manage button at each section, and then it will let you edit any information there. So everything's correct. So then what you're going to do is click Submit Event up here at the top. And then hit OK. Now, since I said yes to online registration, we have to activate that part of it to allow the participants to register online. So what you'll do is you'll click on the Manage drop-down button. Oops, wrong one, sorry. You'll click on the Event button, and then you'll select Manage Online Registration. For the registration fee, if you need to add a fee, you would just click Add Fee, or you would just check off as a free event and hit Next. This page, it will send out different emails to the participants, and you can go ahead and type in whatever you would like in these boxes. Once that's done, you'll hit Next. Now for the event activation, sorry. So we have 25 participants. Just confirm that the start date and the end date is correct for the registration. And then you have to accept the terms and conditions and then hit Activate. Now, if you're doing this as a private event, and I would have said private, regardless, you get this link, and this is the link that you will send out to the individuals if it's a private event. Or you can send it out to, if it's not a private event, you are doing, advertisements, a couple of days, you have different events for each day, and you want to send like a group email out to everyone, you can include the links within that email for them to get directly to that event within the system. We're going to go ahead and back and hit Return. So that is pretty much the gist of it to enter in an event. Is there any other questions, or do you have anything to add, Chris?
I wanted to comment on the Stripe account because we have received a lot of questions around Stripe. So Amanda just showed you how to enter an event if Stripe is already set up in your organization. And Stripe, just to give you a little bit of background, Stripe is basically an online payment system similar to PayPal. PayPal, can be used by single merchants or, individuals to sell things, where Stripe is more widely used for large organizations. So New World, our vendor, chose Stripe because there was more safety involved with using Stripe, because large organizations do use Stripe over PayPal. So what happens is if you are a private instructor and you want to have people pay through the system and to register. So it's not just about payment, it's also allowing people to register for your event. In order to do that, you would have to create a Stripe account. And so to do that, you go to stripe.com and set up all of your information, your organization name, and even if you're a private trainer, you can, make up that organization name, similar like you do in the registry, like Mary Smith Training Organization. And you put in all the information, and you put in your bank account information. So you create an email and password for the Stripe account. We do not have access to your Stripe information at all. So once you create your Stripe account, you come back to your organization in the PD registry, and you enter that Stripe information, your email and password, into your own Stripe account. So that basically just turns on your Stripe account for your organization. Nobody has access to it because it's your own personal email and password that you have created, so nobody can have access to it. And so what happens is people register for the courses and then pay through the online system, and then that money goes to your Stripe account. And you can set your Stripe settings to have that money deposited in your bank account weekly, monthly. You set up that time frame as to when you want that money to be deposited in your bank account. So it's really important. There were some misconceptions that private instructors were not allowed to set up their own Stripe account. That was basically in the past if you were contracting with a professional development organization. The professional development organization had their own Stripe account, and you were contracting with that organization, so the payment was going into their Stripe account. Now, as individual private instructors doing professional development, you can create your own Stripe account and collect that money in the registry. That is your money. So the only way for people to be able to register for the courses in the calendar is to create the Stripe account. I know there were a lot of questions around that, but we do have tip sheets on how to create a Stripe account and how to, once you create an event, how to turn on that online registration. But it's just really important to note that it's not just about the money aspect with Stripe, it's also to be able to allow people to register for your courses. So regardless, you may have events that are free, but you still have to have a Stripe account in order for people to register. And in the document for Stripe, there's information on the fees collected for Stripe, and it's similar to PayPal. The fees that are collected, like if it's a $7 course, there are some fees that come off for Stripe for the processing of that money. So again, if you have any questions, you can always email registry@pakeys.org. But there's also information on the PA Keys website, like I mentioned before, under the registry for instructors on how to create that Stripe account and attach it to your organization. Some more questions. Where does the registration link come from? That is just generated from within the system. Once you create the event, it creates the link. So when you send that out to your staff or anyone attending your private event, they get that link through an email. They click on that link and it takes you that person directly to your event so they can register and pay for that event. So that link takes you right to the event. So if they can't register at PA Keys, then how do they get credit for the event?
Once the event has happened, you will be able to add them to the roster after the event has happened. So once the event's over, you would go to the Manage dropdown, and you'll manage roster, or the roster button will be available. I think I had the event set for today, so maybe that's why.
So basically, if you do not want to create a Stripe account, or you can't create a Stripe account, you can always create the event, but you will not be able to you will have to manually enter the participants after the event is over. It will not allow you to enter participants before the event happens.
So because I have the online registration set up, I'm able to do it now, but typically you are not able to add anyone to an event until after that has happened. So you go into the Manage dropdown, click on Roster, and then you'll click on the plus attendees, and then you'll enter in the individual's registry ID number, and then hit Locate. Their name will appear, and then you'll be able to add them to the list.
And just to make a note of that as well, if you do not have Stripe, or if you do have Stripe set up and you choose alternate payment, you can allow people to register for the event, and then they get an invoice to pay outside of the system. So say you have alternate payment set up and you accept cash or check at the door. People can register for the event, and then it shows in the system on the roster that they have not paid. And once they pay you, then you can enter the payment of that amount in there and mark them paid. And a lot of people don't realize that there's actually an invoice tab on the left menu. We get a lot of questions about that. People can go to the left black menu and click on invoices, and they can pay directly through that invoice. There's a link there that takes them to the Stripe account if they choose to pay through Stripe. So that's another feature that a lot of people don't realize that's there. We do have a few more questions. If I'm holding non-funding classes where I will invoice the company, do I still need a Stripe account? Is the link still available to send to the facility? You can absolutely, if you have a Stripe account set up, you can choose alternate payment and then invoice the company separately. If you do have a Stripe account, they would pay through the system. or you could choose, you'd really have to message this strongly that the event is free in the system, and then put a message in the additional comment section that they're paying, that the money is going between the facility outside of the system. If entering an event with a Stripe account, with a base price for the center, can the participants still register online? Yes, that base price comes out of your Stripe account. So say people register and pay $10 for the event, and it goes into your Stripe account, that the fees come out of your Stripe account. So it's not coming off the participant's fee, it's coming out of your Stripe account. So it might be like a $2 fee for Stripe. So you're basically in the end getting $8 for the event, even though they paid $10. So just be mindful when you're creating your courses and events and the fee that you are attaching to the event. You might want to think about how much is taken out of Stripe to determine what you want to charge the participants. And again, as a private instructor, you can create the courses, at a price that you want to. There's no guidelines around what they have to be because they're not funded. Can a director pay the instructor in full and let the staff participants register without paying also? So again, in Stripe, when you set up Stripe, you could set up alternate payment, and then you could let the director know that you will accept the check outside of the system and just have people register, make the event free, and then have them pay outside of the system. As a director doing training for my own staff, do I need the Stripe account? No, I would say no for this, because you can create the event and then just add the participants, your staff, after the event, so that would avoid having a Stripe account. So in that situation, I would say no. When I renewed my PQAS certification, for some reason, I am able to enter events through my main account, but the drop-down menu that is connected to my Stripe account still says that the PQAS is expired.
Okay, that just needs to be updated. So you can email pqas@pakeys.org. We can go ahead and get that updated for you.
And there's one more question. Can a center create a Stripe account, or can only the PQAS instructors do so? It would only be the PQAS instructors that would create the Stripe account. That's another really good question, because people think that the participants need to have a Stripe account, and that is not the case. They pay for the course, the event, through the system, and it gets debited from their bank account, but they do not need a Stripe account. Only the PQAS instructors need the Stripe account. Did you say alternate payment can be set up through Stripe? Yes. So whenever you create your Stripe account, whenever you connect your Stripe account to your organization, it connects it, and then there's several questions below that. You can turn on alternate payment. It'll say alternate payment, yes or no. You would say yes, and then you would add a little message like instructor accepts cash, money order, or check, or whatever you want your message to be. So then people have that option whenever they go to register for the event. It will either give them the option to pay now or pay later, and then it'll say that little message like instructor accepts cash, money order, or check, so you can make that message what you want it to be. But one thing to note about alternate payment is it's an all or nothing. You can't just turn on alternate payment for one event. It turns it on for all of your events. So if you do choose to offer alternate payment, it's for all of your events that can be created. Now you can go back and turn it off at any point, but if you do turn it on to begin with, it's going to be for all of your events. So you can't just choose, tomorrow's event, I'm going to accept cash, but then the next one I'm not. It's an all or nothing. Do the PD courses need to be PQAS approved now? I heard that courses can come from outside vendors that may not be known to PQAS. Currently, all professional development courses being offered PQAS credit do need to be PQAS approved. We did send a message out through Octel that they do need to be PQAS approved unless it's like a lawyer or a doctor or a specialty situation, they do need to be PQAS approved, and that includes our national organizations too. We're approving a lot of national orgs such as 0 to 3, Pro Solutions. I think we have a list of 14 of them now, and they also have to go through the PQAS process. So if somebody takes PD from a national organization, they will not get PQAS hours unless it has gone through our vetting system. Another question, turn it on, off by the registry or Stripe website? That's a great question. You turn it off through the registry. So whenever you enter your Stripe information and connect your Stripe account to your organization, you connect it, and then below there's a bunch of questions, and the first question is, do you want to accept alternate payment? You just click the box yes, and that's when that will turn it on. So it's not on the Stripe website, it's within the registry. Basically, the Stripe.com is to just set up your Stripe account, but you can go back to Stripe.com if you have to offer refunds. So we get a lot of people that are requesting refunds, so you can do that. So if you have an event, and that again would be your own policy as a private instructor, whether or not you want to offer refunds. Some private instructors do offer refunds, some do not. We do not set those guidelines since it's your own private PD. If you do offer refunds, you just need the person's email and then the amount paid for that course, and you just go on Stripe.com. It's super easy. Type in their email, and then their payment comes up, and you just click refund payment, and then you can send them a receipt. So that part is super easy too if you do allow refunds. Are you still charged a fee when using alternate payments? No, because you're not. They're actually not paying through Stripe. They're only registering through Stripe. So there is not a fee associated for Stripe when there's alternate payments turned on. Can you repeat where to find the tip sheets on the PA Keys website? Absolutely. Go to pakeys.org, and then you can click on Professional Development. It's at the top middle box, and then scroll down to PD Registry, and then hover over the instructor link. But Amanda also just has on her screen on the PD Registry, you can also go right here to PA Keys tip sheets on the left menu, and that will take you directly to that page. So here's the PA Keys website and all of the tip sheets for instructors.
So if you need to get any information on PQAS instructors and professional development organizations, you'll click here. Anything about your early learning professionals or program directors. If you have questions about the career pathway, PQAS, director credentials, the Rising Stars tuition, all of those resources can be found right here.
We have another question. In general, what is the range of prices by hour for private instructors? Often providers do not want to pay per person. Again, this rule is really up to the private instructor. Before, when we had funded PD, it was $7 for a 1-hour course, $14 for, $7 for 1 to 2 hours, $14 for 3 hours or more, and then sometimes it would go up to $21 or $28 if it was like 4 hours or more. But really, as being a private instructor, you can charge, what you want to charge. Again, I know this was another topic of discussion just because there isn't funded PD anymore, and private instructors don't want to charge so little because then they're not making money off of the PD. But again, since we don't have the funded PD, it's really up to you to determine what cost you want to charge. Has funded PD gone away? The professional development organizations, as of now, there is not funded PD. I'm not sure what will be happening in the future, but for now, their private instructors can offer their own PD. I don't have all the information about the funded PD, and again, that would be something that Donna Winterholt would be able to cover. We still offer PA key courses such as ERS, Our online courses, those are still $7 for each course for online courses, but that is separate from what used to be the professional development orgs or the former regional keys. We have a question, the current screen, how do we find that?
Oh, okay. To find this screen, this is within your organization profile. So if you're on your home screen under your name, you're going to click the purple box with your name on it, or with the organization's name. Or if this is your individual trainer one, it would be Amanda Januszewski Training. So we'll click on that box, and then you will click on the Settings tab. If you do not see a Settings tab, just simply email me. Just email pquas@pakeys.org and just say, I want to set up Stripe and I don't have a Settings tab. I can go in and turn that on for you. That is something that I have to turn on so you can see it.
And again, I just want to note, this is where you add your Stripe information, the little blue box there, it says log into Stripe, and that's where you enter your email and password that you created from Stripe.com. And again, we do not have access to that. So if we tried to go in your account and get your Stripe information, we would not be able to access it, because each time you go in there, you have to enter, or if you would change your Stripe account or whatever, we would not have access, because we would have to know your email and password used, so we do not have access to that. Also within having Stripe, you can also go into stripe.com and get different reports, like how many people registered for your courses, the amount paid for courses, so that information can also be found on stripe.com if you're looking for that information for your events. But also we have reports in the report section that you could also pull to see, you know, how many people attended and the cost paid and that information.
Any other questions?
Does anyone have any information about the roster? I know there was some confusion. People thought that they had to print out the roster for people to sign it, and that's not the case. As people register, their names go onto that roster. So before the event, if you want to print that out and just show proof that people actually attended, you can print it out with all of their names on it, and then they can sign it, but you do not need to manually fill in that roster as well. I know there was some confusion around the roster, or where to find the attendance sheet.
One more thing that I wanted to show you guys is that after you submit an event for approval, you are able, and the event is approved, you are able to make some changes within that event. You will be able to change who has administrative access within the trainers. You'll be able to change the location name and the address. You can add additional location notes. If you need to change the start and end date time for any event, you can do that, as well as for multi-session events. You can change the delivery method and the contact information. You are also able to make changes to some of the registration options within the event. So so if you did make a mistake or something changes, you are able to do that. Just be aware the system does not email the registrants that there are changes. So if the location changes and there's already individuals on the roster, you will need to email them. To email the roster, you would just click on the Manage button, and then you'll be able to message the roster. A box will show up. You type in your message, you're able to copy your own email on that email, and then you just send it right from the system.
Can you show the attendance sheet?
Mm-hmm.
So Amanda's going to show, so you're seeing her screen right now where the roster, you can see the list of people that are registered for the roster, but you can also print out the roster that has the signature line in there if you want to print out and show proof that people attended the session.
I think because there's nobody on there.
Can you add somebody?
Yeah. All right, sorry about that. It looks like we never had that link reinstalled in this new enhancement, so I'll have to put a ticket into our vendor. Typically, you'll see a reports box, and you'll see a link that says attendance record, and you'll be able to click on that link, and it will automatically pull that report for you.
One nice new feature under the roster is you can see attendees and the number of attendees, because I know in the past people had to go into the roster and manually count how many people had registered. So now it's a quick glance and you can see there are 0 people have registered, but that was another feature that PQAS instructors had requested. So that's there to make a quick glance at how many people have registered now. So again, that printout should be available, and it looks like there's a bug that we need to submit for the attendance sheet, but there is a signature line on there. Somebody asked, how do you find your org ID if your org is not showing up in your profile? If you go to your profile and click on employment, you can add your employment and then just type in your organization name. I always say that's the easiest way because you wouldn't know your org ID unless it's just more complicated to find it that way. So you can just type in your org name and it should come up. Do you still have to close out an event, and in what time frame? Yes, you do have to close out an event. And Amanda, what's the time frame?
We ask around for about 2 weeks, but I mean, you have maybe about a month. But I mean, once they are verified and marked as attended on the roster, the individuals get the credits. It does not go by when the event has been marked completed. But we like you to try to mark your events completed within 1 month time frame of the end date.
And then we had another question. What reports do we need to send after an event? Since these are not funded events, they're your own events as a private instructor, you do not need to send any reports to the PA key or anybody else unless you are contracting in the future with a professional development organization. But at this time, these are your own events, so you do not need to send any reporting to anybody at this time. But you can pull out reports and print them off for your own use. And again, you would just go into your organization and then click on the reports tab, and then there should be information there on the training events. There's different reports for PQAS instructors that you can pull based on what you're looking for. Is there a location to find an overview report for all PDs taught to get results? Yeah, so here's all of the reports that you should be able to see, like a course list in your events that you have scheduled. You can export from the training calendar all of your events that are listed in the training calendar. The event roster shows everybody that has been listed in your events. Event registration, pending payment. So if people haven't paid you, you can click on here to see who has not paid you if you turn on alternate payment. But again, you can also find that information in the roster. The training catalog is just, that's more for printing all of your training. Training participation, that gives you a little more information about the event, who registered, their email. If they've included their personal information, you can get that there. Like if you wanted to email their participants in the future about an upcoming event, you could do that, find that information there. And then the training participation owned courses. And that was more when instructors were contracting with PDOs. They were able to see their courses and their events and also who was funding them and all of that information. Another question, how do we reschedule an event if we need to cancel?
Okay, let me get back to that one course or that one event, and we can go ahead and walk through that. So what you would do is you would log in, you would locate the event, and then within the, I believe it's the top one, the event drop down. Let me just double check, sorry. So you'll go into the event, and then in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a drop-down that says Manage, or not Manage, it says Event drop-down. Within there, you can cancel, and then you can reschedule. And say if you're doing the same event, a couple times, you can always duplicate the event and then change, the needed information. So you'd cancel. And then it will go ahead and you can email the participants. So you would do the reason, you would select the reason, and then your email would go here. If you want to email the note, you would select email, and then you would be able to put in the list of the individuals that you want to email.
Somebody asked if you can attach documents.
Yes, you can. Let me go back into that. So to attach files, you just click on the plus file icon and a box, then you can go ahead and just search for what file you want to add.
We had another question. Can you, does the PDO provide any reports back to provide any reports at this time? At this time, I don't believe any reports are needed if the PDO is not contracted with the PA key or Octal. I'm not sure if that will change in the future, but as of now, I don't believe so. Follow-up, will the roster move, or do we have center folks when we, or will the roster move, or do we have to re-enter folks when we reschedule?
Okay, so if this is just for you canceling it, if you were going to reschedule it, you will click Reschedule Events. Yeah, so yes, you will have the opportunity to transfer any roster attendees over to the next event. So you would click Yes. And then if there was a list of individuals registered for the event that I'm rescheduling, their names will appear here, and then you would select the individuals that you want to transfer over, and then you would click Continue.
So it's really important that you make sure that you check off all the attendees, or else you will have to re-enter, because I know that's happened in the past where people did not check to have them all move over and didn't check the individuals, so then they did not move over. And yes, that is a new enhancement where you can attach a document to the email sent out. Okay, we have about 3 more minutes left for any additional questions. We are going to take these questions and we can make our FAQ document and send out to all of you just for a recap. This will also be recorded, but again, we have all the tip sheets listed, posted on the PA Keys website, and we are always here to answer any questions. I know a lot of you email Amanda or call Amanda, but we're here to support you because I know it's even though the system's a year old, we do have new enhancements, and it's a learning process for all of us. And again, if you ever have any questions, we like to hear from you if there's things that aren't working, things that you want to see to make things easier for you. We always take this information to our steering committee and try to make enhancements to the system. So that's an ongoing process. So any concerns that you have, we take all considerations to all of them. So please feel free to let us know if there's anything that you think needs changed. But again, we're going to keep these questions and make sure we comment on all of them and send them out to you so you have it for a quick guide. But again, you can check out the tip sheets, and coming soon we will have the little short videos in the registry. So again, if you like looking at the videos better, and also if you need a private walkthrough, Amanda does a lot of those with instructors that just needs one-on-one, seeing her screen, how to enter the course and event. That's what we're here for, to support you and your work. So don't ever hesitate to ask.
And I know someone asked about seeing the conference module. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to that today, but if you want to go ahead and email me or email registry@pakeys.org, we can go ahead and set up time and I can do a walkthrough with you.
Yep, and if you email registry@pakeys.org and choose
They just email.
Okay, just email, and then those get forwarded to Amanda, so then we can reach out to you to help. So again, it's registry@pakeys.org. We appreciate all of you being on the call. So again, if you have any questions, let us know. We'll keep the question line open for a couple minutes, even though we're done. So if you think of others, in the next couple minutes, just record your question, and we'll make sure to add it to the FAQ. Thanks, everyone.